Rangers' summer rebuild is gathering serious momentum, and the latest development points to another key piece of the puzzle falling into place. With 5 new faces already through the door at Ibrox, the club is now closing in on a 6th signing, as reports indicate a deal has been agreed and an announcement could be just around the corner. It's another strong signal of intent from Russell Martin, who has wasted little time putting his stamp on the squad ahead of the new season. This latest twist firmly shifts attention back to who's coming in, and what it means for Rangers' ambitions going forward. So who is next through the door? Let's break it down, along with all the other Rangers news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. But first, Russell Martin has already taken a couple of familiar faces to Rangers with him. Now he could be looking to sign another of his former players. Joe Rothwell, who starred for Martin at Southampton, and Max Aarons, who was familiar to the Rangers boss from his time at Norwich, are 2 of the Light Blues' new recruits this summer. Now, according to a report, Rangers have reignited their interest in Samuel Edozie. The Light Blues made a late move to sign the Southampton winger in the dying stages of the summer transfer window last season, but they couldn't get a loan deal over the line despite things reportedly reaching an advanced stage. The Southampton manager at that time was none other than Russell Martin. At the time, Martin spoke of his frustrations at the deal collapsing. He said, "What frustrated me was how late it fell through, and it wasn't on our end. I think it's a bit unfair to Sam, really. It's a bit disappointing, but it is what it is. Every club has their prerogative and their priorities in the transfer window." Edozie, who was understood to be keen on the move to Ibrox last August, instead ended up spending last season at Anderlecht, but almost a year on, the move could be back on. BBC journalist Nizar Kinsella is reporting that Rangers have seen an offer turned down by Southampton. He also reports that other clubs are in the frame to sign him. Reports out of Belgium say Club Brugge, who faced Rangers in a friendly at Ibrox on Sunday, are in talks over a permanent swoop for the winger. Edozie was in the Millwall Academy before moving to Manchester City in 2019. He made just 1 appearance for the Premier League Giants, starting in the 2021 FA Community Shield. Edozie joined Southampton on a £10 million deal in September 2022 and made 17 Premier League appearances. He featured more regularly in the Championship the following season, as Saints were promoted back under Martin, scoring 6 goals in 32 games. After the move to Rangers collapsed last summer, he instead headed for Anderlecht, where he played 23 times in the top tier in Belgium. The wide positions are areas where Rangers are light, and they are ramping up their efforts to change that. Now, in a massive deal, agreed for Rangers' 6th signing, Rangers are closing in on a deal to sign Sheffield Wednesday winger JD Gassama, as Russell Martin gets set to bolster his Ibrox attack. RFC News understands an agreement has been reached that will see Gassama make the switch to Glasgow this summer. A 4-year contract has reportedly been agreed by the French under-20 internationalist. Gassama joined the Owls 2 years ago after progressing through the academy system at Paris Saint-Germain. He scored 8 times in 47 appearances last season and is now poised to make the move north of the border despite interest from the Championship this summer. The 21-year-old is capable of operating across the forward line. He was mainly used from the left flank by Wednesday, and his arrival at Ibrox will give Martin another much-needed option in the final third. Martin has added in defence and midfield so far this summer after completing deals for Max Aarons, Emmanuel Fernandez, Joe Rothwell and Thelo Arsgaard following the pre-contract deal for Lyle Cameron. Rangers are now on the brink of adding Gassama to the squad as Martin puts his players through their paces at a training camp at St George's Park this week. A bounce game is expected to be held during the trip as preparations are stepped up for the Champions League clash with Panathinaikos later this month. Martin saw his side in action for the first time on Sunday as Rangers came from 2 goals down to draw with Club Brugge at Ibrox. The head coach was quizzed about the futures of Cyril Dessers and Hamza Garman and a reported interest in former England striker Jamie Vardy. I expect the team to look different again, the squad to look different in a week's time, Martin said when asked about the possibility of further transfer business. But in a couple of weeks, so much can happen in football, so I don't know. So I think we definitely want to do more for sure. And also probably some players need to move on as well at some point because the squad's going to start looking very big and very heavy. I don't know is the answer, but it will definitely look different in a week's time. In other news, Matondo's return to Rangers pre-season training has been delayed due to injury. The 24-year-old winger spent the second half of last season on loan at Hanover in the German second division. RFC News understands Matondo, who has 1 year left on a 4-year contract that he signed at Ibrox in the summer of 2022, is expected back in August following a minor procedure on his knee over the summer. The winger scored on his debut for Hanover during a 2-2 draw with Hamburg last season, but would go on to play a little over 300 minutes in the Bundesliga too. The Welsh international, who last played for Rangers in a 1-1 draw against Dundee this January, joined from Schalke in 2022. Matondo has struggled with injuries consistently since moving to Glasgow, missing 4 months of the 2024/25 campaign due to a hamstring issue sustained in the first Old Firm game of the season. Matondo's latest setback adds to a frustrating spell marked by recurring injuries since his arrival in Glasgow. With just a year remaining on his contract, the coming months could prove decisive for the winger's future at Rangers as he works toward a return to full fitness and aims to make a lasting impact. Oscar Cortez and Finlay Curtis were both bright as Russell Martin's side earned a 2-2 draw with Club Brugge on Sunday. However, with the new head coach intent on utilising touchline-hugging wingers, it is an area of the squad in which he and sporting director Kevin Thelwell will seek to improve before the window closes in September. Meanwhile, Martin has opened the door for Clinton and Ciala to leave the club in search of regular games after he was left out of the matchday squad against Brugge. Asked about Ciala's omission post-match, Martin said, "Clinton, we signed Emmanuel, and I think Clinton's at a point at his age and his career. He needs to play all the time and every week. He's trained really well, but I think it's rather playing some part of the squad, a bit like last season. He's at a point now where he needs to go and play football, and he's the best way to learn. We've had a really good conversation, honest conversation, and he's trained really well. I think it was an area we wanted to strengthen centre-back anyway, and we will continue to strengthen." So, to let Clinton know the situation really early is probably the best for him to find the best opportunity to play football. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so make sure you join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.